Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Team Forbidden's YouTube page again. Once again, it is Andrew the Collector here with the deck that I took to YCS Pasadena. Obviously I didn't top, but I got pretty close to topping. But yeah, I faced a fair amount of tier players, but I actually faced a lot of other non-tier decks like Flunderies, Despia, I faced a Sprite, and so on. But as you know, tier completely just dominated the format over there. So without further ado, let's just get right into it, and I'll tell you my tech choices as we go along. So the first and only monster that I run in the main deck is 2 Lava Golem. I mainly made this deck to go first, but I have text in here that is for going second that won't hinder my plays as much if I go first. But obviously Lava Golem is there for quick spot removal in case my opponent goes first and sets up a ridiculous board of Omni Negates. But as I found out, that wasn't necessarily the case, but I'm still glad I put Lava Golem here because he did come in clutch during my Sprite format, or during my Sprite game the first round. So yeah, that's the only 2 that I play. Oh, and one other thing that I use this against is I faced a Despia player, and they got 2 Masquerades out on me, and I was able to tribute both of them to get this guy out. So really good against Despia too. Now off to the spell cards. The main central spell card that you're going to be running is Runick Fountain. Runick Fountain is basically the backbone of this deck's entire strategy. If you guys don't know what the Runick strategy is that their main win condition is to deck out your opponent by banishing the top cards of their deck. And Runick Fountain's effect will allow you to activate Runick Quick Plays from your hand during your opponent's turn, basically giving them like a Magical Musketeer style gameplay. And its once per turn effect is that once per turn when you activate a Runick Quick Play, you can target up to 3 of them in your graveyard, place them at the bottom of your deck, and then draw the same amount of cards. The cool thing about that is that if they try and DD Crow or remove any of your Runick Quick Plays from your graveyard mid-chain, whatever ones that they don't banish, you still put them back and you'll draw that same amount of cards. So that's a real cool factor for it. The next 3 is 3 Runick Tip. It's your searcher of the deck. Basically, the Runick Quick Plays have 2 effects. And their overall thing is that when you activate it, you can't conduct your next battle phase. That's very important to know. So each of the Runick Quick Plays all share the same effect of that. One of their effects is that you can special summon a Runick Fusion monster from your extra deck to your extra monster zone. They all share that effect. Runick Tip's effect is that you can search out any Runick card, and then your opponent banishes the top card of their deck. Next up is Runick Freezing Curses. Its unique effect is that you can target a monster that your opponent controls, negate its effects, and then they banish the top 3 cards. Runick Flashing Fire is you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and then they banish the top 2 cards of their deck. Runick Destruction is probably the better one. Its unique effect is that you target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it, and then they banish the top 4 cards of their deck, which is really busted. And the last 3 are Runick Slumber. You target one monster on the field. For the first time that it would be destroyed by battle or by card effects, it is not, and then your opponent banishes the top 3 cards. 3? Yeah, top 3 cards of their deck and banish them. Really good to either save your monsters from being destroyed, or just target one of your opponent's monsters and just mill out the last cards of their deck. Then 2 Golden Droplet and 2 Dispelling. These cards go hand in hand because Droplet's effect is that unique effect is that they draw 1 card and then banish the top 4. And Dispelling's effect is that when the card is added from their deck to their hand, you discard a random card and then you banish the top 2 cards. So you basically can activate Dispelling right after Golden Droplet, since that effect would apply. Really good. And continuing on, we have 2 Smiting Storms, or Thor's Hammer, as people like to call it. Its unique effect is that your opponent banishes the top cards of their deck equal to the number of cards that they control. Short, sweet, and simple. And our last Runick card is Runick Allure. It's a continuous spell. Every time a quick play spell is activated, even by your opponent, they banish the top card of their deck. It's not once per turn, and it's mandatory. But unfortunately, you can only control one of these, which is why I'm only running one of it. They learned their lesson with Dark Room of Nightmare, and it definitely shows, because this card is really good in the pure format, in the pure Runick build. That's it for the Runick spells. Now off to the Spice. 3 Mystic Mine. I love this card so much. It has saved my butt so much this last weekend, and it is basically the reason why I won all of my matches. Pretty much everyone hates this card. They call it to be banned. I'm one of those people who agrees that it should be banned at some point, but currently right now, especially with tier dominating the format now and making it a tier 0 format, this card it's a necessary evil, basically. I don't care what you say. If you can run the outs if you want. You don't have to run the outs. You can hate it, you can love it, but in my opinion, this card needs to stay as long as the format is the way that it is and the way that it's going. But yeah, I love it so freaking much, and I could not have succeeded without it. And to go in hand with that, 3 Demise of the Land to get it out, either your Mystic Mine or your Fountain a lot quicker. And it's a quick play spell, so you can definitely use it in tandem with Allure. Next is 3 Pot of Prosperity. It's Prosperity. We need the main searcher of the deck to just dig into our deck a lot quicker. If you can't afford this card, even it is reprinted. It is between $30 to $40. But if you can't afford that, then Extravagance works just as well. Just make sure you utilize your extra deck as well as you can. Then 2 Dark Ruler No More. This kind of goes in with Lava Golem as a blind going second in case you lose the dice roll, which I'll admit I did lose the dice roll every single round that I played, and I still came out as far as I did. I'm really shocked. And the one others are 1 Terraforming for obvious reasons, and 1 Begone Demon Child, also known as Called by the Grave. Off to the traps. 3 Solemn Judgment. It's Solemn Judgment. This card has saved me from evenly matched so many times against a Flunderies player. I highly recommend running this. And now for the main spice of the deck. 3 Curse Seal of Forbidden Spell. Let me tell you about this card because it definitely saved my ass more than once. Not only against Cosmic Cyclones, Heavy Harpy's Feather Duster, but I faced a Despia player and I used this on his Branded Fusion and his Polymerization. So after I did that, he basically lost the game because he wasn't able to get any of his fusion monsters. So yeah, if you're running a pure Runick build, definitely main 3 of this card. It is a must. Then 1 Metaverse, because it's Metaverse to get your field spells quicker. And then 1 Summon Limit for a Floodgate because I had an extra space and I thought I might as well put in Summon Limit, and yeah, it's really good. I was wanting to put in Rivalry of the Warlords instead, but I wasn't able to get it in time, but Summon Limit did just as well. That's it for the main deck, so let's go into the extra deck. First off are 3 Hugin the Runick Wings. Each of the Runick monsters has their own unique effects. Hugin is that when she is summoned, you can discard a card and search out your field spell. And when any of your cards would be destroyed, you can banish her instead. So let me give you an instance that I actually had. I had Mystic Mine out on the board, and I just had a few face downs. And one of them was a quick play. My opponent tried to activate Harpy's Feather Duster. So what I did is I activated my quick play spell to special summon Hugin to get her on board. The chain will resolve. Harpy's Feather Duster will attempt to activate, but you banish her instead to save your mine. So yeah, that's why she is so broken and probably your best fusion monster. The second best one would be Gary, the Runick Fangs. His effects are simple. When he's summoned, you can add a field spell from your graveyard to your hand. He can't be destroyed by card effects, and if he is destroyed by battle, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and pop it. Great way to get rid of floodgates if you ever run into those. Now off to the most underrated fusion monster is Hugin Wings. when he is summoned, you'd pitch a card to search out your Runick Allure, the continuous spell. It protects your stuff from being targeted. So if your opponent were to activate Cosmic Cyclone and target one of your cards, you use his effect to banish and negate and destroy it. And during each end phase, including your opponent, you gain 1,000 life points. Talk about a clutch in time, because look at this. This is how many times I switched out my life points, because this was against the Flunderies player. So every time I would gain life points, and I was stalling under Mystic Mine, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Then I would activate Solemn Judgment, cut my life points in half, and pretty soon I was able to gain those life points back. It was absolutely nuts. And I am no longer going to not be running it without this guy. He is just too good. And probably the one I use the least is Ferric, the Runick Wings, or the Runick Fangs, I'm sorry. His effect is that when he's destroyed by battle or by card effects, you can add a quick play spell from your graveyard to your hand for good recursion. If an attack is declared involving this card, your opponent banishes the top 2 cards of their deck, and neither player takes battle damage involving this card. So it's okay, good for recursion if you need your quick play spells back in a pinch, but definitely the one that I use the least. And for the 2 Ghost Reaper targets, I had Kagari and Striker Dragon. I couldn't find my Sprite Elf or the Tier Element level 5 Fusion Monster, because I would definitely run those instead, because I never used these. I never faced Sky Strikers, and I never faced Dragon Link. But if you have those 2 cards instead, replace those with these. And then Waking the Dragon targets are 1 Naturia Exterio, 1 Ultimate Falcon, and Last Warrior on the Planet. Didn't go into these either, never came up, but it's there if I needed them. Now off to the side deck. Like I said, 2 Ghost Reaper and 2 Waking the Dragon for your extra deck spots. You can replace these with anything that you want if you don't want to run these packages, but Ghost Reaper definitely I would recommend if you have the Sprite or the tier element extra deck monsters. But again, the choice is up to you. Day Barrier to combat against tier elements, obviously. 2 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Let me give you a scenario real quick. It is game 3, there's 5 minutes left on the clock, and your opponent is going first. They activate an effect to special summon. You chain this effect to gain life points and get advantage in winning in time. Scott actually lost his match to this card during the last round. But yeah, it was a pretty garbage card way back in the day, but nowadays, currently, it's almost a necessity in the side deck, at least in my opinion. Then there can only be 1s, and 2 Majesty's Fiend. You could replace Lava Golem. You could switch Lava Golem out with these if you want, because the whole strategy with him is that you use one of your Runick spells to special summon out your one of your fusions. Use their effect to discard and search out either your Allure or your Fountain, whichever monster you decide to summon, and then you tribute that monster to normal summon this guy. Bada bing, bada boom. Your opponent is locked out of using monster effects. The next is the extra summon limit, and then 2 Cosmic Cyclones. And yeah, that is it for the deck profile that I took to YCS Pasadena. I really enjoyed the deck. Like I said, Mystic Mine came out in clutch. I know a lot of people hate that card, but it is what it is. As long as it's legal, I'm going to keep using it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you want to see any other profiles or videos, please comment down below. Let us know what you would change in the deck profile, and we'll catch you guys later.